All right, guys. So our next topic does bring us into the world of DC, as I was kind of a misstep before. I knew there was a DC topic coming up here, so that's where my brain was at. So Margot Robbie is apparently been really pushing for Poison Ivy to be brought into the DCEU in her Harley Quinn movie universe here. So I think that this would totally work if you've been caught up at all or seen the like, because I mean, in the comic books, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy have definitely had their bouts. They've had collaborations numerous times, so like it's not like it's this off the wall or anything. But most recently in the HBO Max Harley Quinn animated series, which is really good. Like, definitely go watch it. I need to get caught up on it. I only think I got through like half of the first season, and then it just I just stopped watching it. Kinda like Dark. I got John to watch Dark, and, like, I started watching it when it was in
So
season
good.
1, and I just stopped watching it. Like, I just need to go back. I've only watched a couple episodes of season 2, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I need to
Best
get
show
caught
I've
back up.
watched.
You
Best show
liked
I've
it?
watched since I mean maybe like Breaking Bad. Like you gotta go back to Breaking Bad to find a show that was just I mean they're not similar in any way, shape, or form, but
Oh,
just
no.
production quality and storytelling and character development and just interesting. Like you just can't stop watching it. Like you gotta know what happens. It's so good.
Yeah, I was
If
blown
you're
away by season 1.
I'm gonna give a small spoiler for it here, but it involves time travel. If you're in any way, shape, or form ever been interested in the idea of time travel and how it affects things, and then like fate versus like how much influence you have over your destiny and whatnot, man, the show is just so good.
It's time travel
So
done right, though.
yes,
It's not like a time travel story, like, not to, like, knock on Back to the Future, but it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not like Endgame kind of time travel. It's like it's good. It's a drama series. I mean, it's very good. It's like a mystery,
so good.
thriller, time travel, drama extravaganza. It's very good.
Like it might be one of my top 5 TV shows of all time. I don't know. I finished it a week and a half ago, and every day I find myself thinking about it and like thinking about like, oh yeah, but what if could this have influenced that? What happened here? And so good.
I need to go back and I need to go finish it. You've got me more interested to go finish that now.
I haven't seen it.
There's a twist that happens at the end. There are twists that happen. Like I think people will like think about like Walking Dead when they used to like kill off characters and like how many twists they had, and other shows that have like these are twists that are all done right. Like every few episodes, there's a twist. And it's not just a twist for the sake of having a twist. It actually, story wise, really makes sense that something would happen. But at the time, like you're like, what in the world is going on? Like it's just crazy.
They're
Like
more revelatory because
yes,
it's like
yes,
something
but there's
happens and it makes it like connects a dot that happened,
exactly
3 episodes ago.
there's a twist that happens at the end of season 2, I think, that you're like, well, of course that happened. And then at the end of season 3, you're like, or at the end of season 3, like the final episode, something happens, and you're like, of course, this is what's going on. Like it's just like your brain. It's just oh man, I can't talk about it enough. It's so good.
Yeah, I definitely need to. I'll probably start watching that again this week, honestly. So, and also though, back to the topic at hand, I need to get back to watching the Harley Quinn show. Did you guys
Yeah,
ever watch the Harley Quinn show
I have
on
not. No.
I
HBO?
did. I love it. Yep,
Yeah,
great show.
it's
Is it
fantastic.
animated?
It's
That's
animated.
what I
It's
thought.
Yes,
like rated R. It's like South
yes.
Park but Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
that's what it is.
great analogy. Yeah,
Like, I mean, because it's
It's
hilarious.
not
Like,
child appropriate.
no, but it's like,
no,
and
God, no.
it's not rated R for the sake of being rated R like the Birds of Prey movie was. Like, it's it's purposeful rated R stuff. Like, I mean, it's more like rated R comedy driven more so than anything else. Like,
Yeah.
the movie with like the Margot Robbie Birds
If
of
you,
Prey movie was just a rated R because they wanted to say fuck. Like,
yeah, if you have a psychopathic woman that runs around that chose the Joker to be her love interest and broke him out of, she's gonna have a certain humor bent, and she's gonna tell adult jokes and say adult words.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it makes sense that it's rated R. It's not,
Yeah.
it's done so well. Yeah.
It fits the story, and it's really funny. Like, because when it first came out, I was like, why are they doing this? Like, I don't know. What are we gonna do with a Harley Quinn? Because they had like recently prior to this show coming out, they had the like animated Batman movie, Batman and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And, like, it was fine, but that almost seemed like a Batman animated movie featuring Harley Quinn for the sake of having a Harley Quinn and Batman movie. It didn't really serve too much of a purpose. Like, it was just like, "Yeah, Harley Quinn's hot right now, so let's just make a Batman movie featuring Harley Quinn. Let's just
Yeah.
do it."
People like it because of Birds of Prey and
Yeah, like, whatever.
Suicide Squad.
But, like, this came out, though, and, like, I had those reservations for it, and I started watching it, and it kinda blew me away because well, obviously not what we're talking about now, but the Harley Quinn animated show. Point being, Poison Ivy is like, the main character alongside of Harley Quinn, and they have, like, a romantic relationship that ends up kinda budding, and it's really good. So just
I
go
love
watch that.
Poison Ivy.
Yeah, and then based on, like, the influence of that show, I could see why Margot Robbie would be interested in wanting to kind of integrate some of that into her Harley Quinn character and, like, in the movies and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, Poison Ivy's a cool character. Like, most recently, what was what was that animated movie where she used her pheromones to manipulate Superman? Which one was that? Because that was, like
Hush.
was
Hush.
that in Hush, the most recent one?
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean, she did in the Hush comic book series, and I can't remember the movie because they did so much diversion from the actual storyline. But yeah, I'm
I
pretty sure it
remember
was
it from the
Hush.
movie, yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
remembering in my I
yeah,
knew it recently happened in one of the movies, I couldn't remember what the hell it was.
yeah,
But, like, she's a cool character on her own is what I was getting at with it, like, she can do some cool shit.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Like,
sure.
when she's used right, she can do some really cool stuff, so I'd like to see Poison Ivy done right on screen in general, like, 'cause, like, I love Uma Thurman and everything, but
Yeah.
blowing the pixie dust on people and the gorilla suit scene and,
The
like
gorilla suits.
like, I don't know if it really did Poison Ivy any justice, so it's probably why we haven't seen her
Yeah.
ever since, so same goes for Mr. Freeze, I love Arnold, but probably why we
Kinda
haven't seen a live action Mr.
buried
Freeze.
that role.
yeah.
Yeah, so I would totally love to see a more even if it does take influence from the show, because I imagine it would, given
Probably.
how popular the show is right now, and, like, they like, Poison Ivy has a very, integral role in that show with Harley. I would like to see that on screen. Like, I think it'd be cool, and they could do some cool stuff with her nowadays too, just with the whole, the CGI and the plants and the stuff. Man, I just remembered the scene from Batman and Robin where she, like, was kissing she went to kiss Robin and, like, he takes off the rubber
Like,
lips.
Plastic
Rubber
lips.
Yeah, just, like, rubber lips, whatever the line is, and it was just so stupid.
It was stupid.
That's so dumb. I love that movie, though. I remember when I was a kid, I watched that shit all the time.
I was in Las Vegas when it came out, and I forced my parents to go watch it in a theater in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I had the poster for
I
it,
had the
man.
toys. I
Like,
had.
that was oh, man, it was when you were, like, a little
That was
when
cool
did it
shit
come out?
back then.
Back in the day, like you were saying before, like, in the '80s and '90s, like, look at the comic book shit we had to deal with. But that's
Yeah.
all we had.
Thank you, Joel
So it's
Schumacher.
like, okay, like, I'll live with it, like,
Yeah.
but whatever. I'm down for seeing this in live action, though. Would you guys like to see a Poison Ivy and a Harley Quinn team up kinda movie, though?
I absolutely would.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot of potential.
I mean, yeah, in a day and age when like DC is trying to, for lack of a better word, like be inclusive and like diversify their characters and the content they're putting out. I mean, this is a LGBTQ character that they could
I like it.
bring into a very popular franchise, or very at least tying with a very popular character right now in Harley Quinn, and it would make perfect sense. It wouldn't be them, doing anything that hasn't been established before. It wouldn't be them like just pulling something out of their hat just to, do it because it's trendy to do right now. This is something that's been established in the comics. It's been established in previous media. It makes perfect sense to do. And the fans are, I think in general, most of the fans are behind it and would want to see something like this. So it seems like just kind of like well, duh, of course you do it. And so why she is having to fight Warner Brothers
know,
for
yeah,
this,
it's weird.
again, we come up against a decision that Warner Brothers is making that just baffles it baffles
What's
you.
new
You
there,
just go,
though?
what are you? Yeah, exactly. What are you guys thinking? But yeah, so yeah, I definitely am all for this, and hopefully she's able to convince them.
Yeah, and to your point too, it doesn't only have some narrative purpose because of like the previous iterations in the comics and on the show and everything. It actually would serve narrative purpose with Harley Quinn, like how she was set up, her arc in Birds of Prey. Like she's no longer
Yeah.
with the Joker, all this
Yep.
stuff happens, and then she runs into Poison
Yeah,
Ivy,
meets
and the
Poison Ivy
relationship
and
kindles. You know what I mean? Like
It blooms.
yeah,
It blooms.
it
Go
blooms.
for
There we
go
go.
for the
There we
yeah, they go for the joke. It blooms.
Yeah, I
with
should-
pun.
balloons.
should've
Literally,
Go for the
that
pun.
yeah.
I didn't catch that. That's good.
Yeah, but the relationship blossoms into something
There
else.
you
Grows
go.
like
You
a
know?
vine.
Yeah, so I mean, it serves a purpose. Like it wouldn't be
Yeah.
like you said, it wouldn't be random, and it wouldn't be like
No.
an inclusive cash grab kind of thing. Like it actually would make sense
Yeah.
for the movie and everything.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm all for
Sure.
it.
And you have Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn as an established character. You don't need to do backstory on
Mhm.
her. So you'd be able to bring Pamela Isley in, and you'd be able to do kind of a introduction and origin story for her character and not have the movie get bogged down in origin stories or origin information. You could have it be, an element of the movie and not, overtake the movie.
Yeah, that'd be great. I hope it happens. Like I know,
Yeah.
I hope it happens because like you kind of said, like I don't see why she's struggling to convince anybody. Just make it happen. Just,
My
just-
fear
just
my
do it.
fear is that the previous the Harley Quinn, the Birds of Prey movie, I'm afraid that not doing as well as I think people had hoped or Warner Brothers had hoped, will make it harder for her to get this done. But that being said, all it takes is a good turnout from Suicide Squad for them to want to get right back to making Harley Quinn movies. And
yeah,
Yeah.
I think maybe one of the things that hurt Birds of Prey was kind of the packed cast that they were trying to introduce in that movie. They introduced a lot of characters in the movie that weren't well known before, although it's been handled in other movies okay. But if you just introduce one, if you're just going with Ivy, then that may work a little better.
Yeah, inevitably it was just the writing that was the problem, and that like just the whole plot. And there was a lot
Yeah.
of stuff going on. Honestly, they
Yeah.
had the Birds of Prey themselves, and Black Mass was just kind of thrown in there. Like
Mhm.
it was a lot of stuff going
Ewan
on.
McGregor was good in that
He
role.
was like, yeah, like he was. I liked that. Like that's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like that's just something that like we'll probably never see again, unfortunately, too. Just
I
because
know.
it just it
Yeah.
just didn't. I don't know. It was good, and it was like it was a different take on him, and I liked it. He was really
Yeah.
living it up. Like
Oh yeah,
and I liked
definitely.
it. It was good. So, question is, guys, what do you think about this? Would you like to see the Poison Ivy Harley Quinn team up movie in live action? I think it pretty much writes itself. So, and I do agree with John here. All it takes is just some good positive reception from us, the fans, from James Gunn's Suicide Squad, coming out here to get more interest in them wanting to do more Harley Quinn stuff. Because I think we can all agree the problem with Birds of Prey was not Harley Quinn at all. I think everybody unanimously loves Margot Robbie in the role. So I don't think anyone would complain about her returning as Harley Quinn. So we just got to get, for whatever reason, we got to get the suits at WB on board with it. So if for anything else, I know we're all going to go support the Suicide Squad anyway. So we just do it for this potential Harley Quinn Poison Ivy movie. Okay. So we'll let us know what you think down in the comment section below.